This is the Fitness Wisdom Podcast. If there was one substance that could increase your energy levels, optimize mitochondrial function, boost ATP production, help to optimize your hormones, remineralize the body with ionic minerals, boost cognitive function, assist detoxification, and support your gut health via the microbiome, this substance is Shilajit, known as the destroyer of weakness. Shilajit is a herbal mineral substance made from the decomposition of plants and bacteria, this process taking place over thousands of years. It is harvested from high altitude locations, primarily the Altai and Himalayan mountains. And what makes Shilajit so unique is that it's made by Mother Nature herself. I call it nature's methylene blue. Not all Shilajit that you find on the market is created equally. This is why I only use and trust Mountain Drop Shilajit. They have an extremely high quality Shilajit product that has been rigorously tested for heavy metals and impurities. Grab yourself some Shilajit, the destroyer of weakness today, and head over to mountaindrop.com. Use the promo code MobilityFitness at checkout for a nice discount as well. Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Fitness Wisdom Podcast. Today I'm going to be interviewing Kerry September. She's one of my followers and we've been following each other for a very long time now, and I got really inspired by her personal health and body transformation. So we're going to be sharing her personal journey and story today with you guys, and I'm sure we're going to get into different strategies, tips and tools that she has utilized over her health and body transformation and how she has managed to keep and maintain such a great physique. So this is going to be a really exciting conversation, and I feel like you're going to get so much value out of this. So you definitely want to save and share it with a friend.
Hi, Andreas.
Hello, Kerry. How are you?
I'm good. It's so nice to meet you.
You're looking glorious. Are you sitting outside?
I am. It's a little bit chilly, but the sun's shining, so taking advantage.
Yeah, there's nothing nicer than the natural light. You know, it's like the best lighting, especially for the camera.
It's the best lighting when you're over 50.
Really, I feel like that blue lighting makes us look so old.
Yeah, it's funny because I look at pictures from quite a few years ago when I was maybe in a studio, or because I work in the photography fashion industry, and
oh, really?
a lot of my clients love to be photographed in sunset light or daylight.
Mm-hmm.
It is a lot more flattering, of course.
So do you think it's because the way that the light is so much more sharp with the blue light, and it only comes from one direction, whereas with natural lighting it's more illuminates from different angles?
I think it's because it's the red light and the orange light that is more flattering on the skin. Yeah, I mean, blue light's kind of quite harsh.
Yeah.
And bright, so it's softer lighting, which, you know, you try and emulate in a studio, but it's never quite the same. Yeah.
I found that, you know, when you're in a gym, for example, you see that it's better for the definition. It looks better, you know, if you have a six-pack or something, it looks better with blue lighting because it's so much more harsher on the lines. So if you've got wrinkles, it really pronounces the wrinkles as well, right?
Yeah, or a good filter. But I try not to filter. I try to be as real as possible, you know. So
I mean, now you look even better than your videos on the reels.
Do you know what? It is literally sitting outside, and I thought I'm going to have to do this sitting outside. It's actually quite cold. But, you know, as you and I know, the cold, our bodies love the cold. And I try and implement as much cold into my life as I possibly can and build up a resistance. And I really have built up such a good tolerance to the cold that I tend to sit more outside and have my breakfast and have my evening meal as long as it's not raining. And I absolutely love it. I love it.
Yeah, so we'll get all into that good stuff in a second. So, but first, I would love for you the reason why I wanted to invite you on today is because, you know, I saw and I noticed that you have such an inspiring story from where you were to where you are now, and we've been following each other for quite a while. So I don't know how long this transformation has been taking place, because I didn't notice the date or the time.
Yeah.
But I think it would be really cool if you went in and you explained, you know, the journey, like what was the thing that actually inspired you to change your trajectory of your life, really, and what age are you now and when did you actually start?
So basically, I mean, it wasn't just one thing. It was a combination of life getting in the way. I had been through some trauma. I had lost a very close friend in 2020, and I was also very unwell. I was getting very sick. I had to have a big operation to remove some big fibroids, which had grown quite significantly since I went on some hormone replacement therapy. It just seemed to. I know now. If I knew then what I know now, then I always said that I would share my story if I found out the answers. So I was waiting for an operation, and it was locked down, and I think I waited 1.5 years, and I tried to heal myself in that 1.5 years. But everywhere I went, looked, I just couldn't find any information. And even my doctor, I said to him, what causes fibroids? And he said, I don't know. And I remember thinking, that's really strange that you don't know the answer, because it is your field. But now I know why. We know it's because of lifestyle, epigenetics, and carbs, sugar, blue light, all of the things that I was doing at the time. And lockdown happened, and I thought, I'm going to do a detox, like a proper detox. I was vegan at the time.
No, really?
I know. So obviously all of these things together, and the veganism was making me sick.
How long,
I didn't know.
How long were you doing the veganism?
3 years for a vegan. So I did a detox where I gave up sugar, and I couldn't lift my head off the pillow for 3 days. Like it was pretty intense. But anyway, 21 days to break any habit, and I got through it. And then when I got through that, I just kind of thought, well, I'm going to carry on because I feel better, and I'm having this operation, and I want to be as fit as I possibly can for the operation. So I was doing yoga every day with an amazing lady, Amy, doing yoga every day in lockdown. And then I found, I started getting into Instagram, and I was getting up for sunrise anyway. I've always loved the sun. My dad's from South Africa. I'm kind of drawn to heat. I'm like a lizard. So I was on the beach watching sunrise, and a friend of mine who also used to go and watch sunrise says to me, you need to check out a lady called Courtney Hunt. So I went and watched one of her lives, and basically I just, this crazy lady on a mountain was swearing her head off, and I loved it, and she was so direct, and that's what I think woke me up. And I started following her protocols, and kind of, 4.5 years later I'm still doing them. And it was, I've never ever been able to kind of maintain, always been exercising since my 30s, but you have children and you kind of get preoccupied with other things in your life, career, and I burnt out in my career, and so 4.5 years later I'm maintaining, and it's working. So I'm just going to keep doing it. Most people, I've always done a program for like 12 weeks or 12 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, and then you just stop. And I think now, why do people just stop? Why do we give, I suppose it's to motivate you for 8 weeks. But, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, and you're kind of rushing into it and doing too much too soon, you're thinking, well, when it's 8 weeks, I can stop doing this. When it's 12 weeks, I can stop doing it. So it's about being so patient and studying and understanding what actually goes on inside the body. So I asked my doctor, I said, look, I want to see pictures. I want to see images of inside my body. I want to know what they look like, these fibroids. And he looked at me and he was like, okay, well, you can, but I won't go into too much detail without getting gruesome. But anyway, he showed me these pictures. I went in for my final consultation, and on the screen was a picture of these fibroids, and I just couldn't believe it. They were so, I mean, they were like living beings, but around the fibroids was all this yellow kind of stuff. And I was like, what is that? And he said, that's visceral fat. And I was like, my good God. So that kind of woke me up, and I thought, right, now is where my journey really begins. And when you see inside your body, it's almost like a bit of a wake-up call, because we just worry about what's on the outside. And in my job, you know, I've made people look beautiful for a living for almost 30 years, but nobody really looks internally at what's going on inside your body. So it's been a real eye-opener studying quantum biology and circadian rhythm. And, you know, I was bottom of the class at school. I was bottom set maths. I wasn't, you know, I'm dyslexic with numbers, and also I'm hard of hearing. So I really struggled at school, but I think, I'm so interested and keen to learn about it. And I think when you have somebody that teaches you in a different way, that makes you think for yourself, then it ingrains. It ingrains, and you learn it better than if someone just gives you all the answers.
100%. You have to be also very passionate about, you know, what you're learning, because I was also as well, you know, when I was younger, I was also diagnosed with dyslexia at school as well, and basically I had a hard time with all the things that you just mentioned. But I was never great at maths. I was never great at history and all this stuff. But I still went to university. You know, I got my nutrition degree, I got my master's degree, and all this good stuff. And it doesn't mean anything. It's just that I wasn't interested in those things that they were teaching me at school. But as soon as I found my passion, I realized, oh, it wasn't actually that I wasn't good at what I was doing. It was just that I wasn't passionate about those things.
Yeah, you are so intelligent with your knowledge. Like you say, you inspired, you know, by me. I was so inspired by you and Tina. It just, I watched one of your videos, and I instantly tried to do, you know, replicate something that Tina was doing. I'm like, this is bloody hard, but I'm just going to keep doing it every day. And, you know, adjust it to my age, because obviously it takes time to get your mobility back.
100%. You have to meet the body where it's at. That's the key. This is what we teach all our clients, and even on ourselves. If I'm trying to learn something new, I'm never gonna, like, if you've never done squats before on a barbell, you're never gonna go and straight 500 kilos. You have to build it up first with the empty bar, then slowly. This is like the most basic example, but if you take any bodyweight exercise, which is more complex, which requires body awareness, body control, balance, and all this stuff, you have to give your body the time to learn the skill before you start to add the power into it, you know, and the strength. So yeah, definitely. But I love what you said previously about how, you know, people love to start these journeys with, you know, a certain time frame, and then they quit, but they don't actually realize that it requires a whole mental and lifestyle shift, right? It's not about doing something and then going back to what you used to be, because the reason why you are where you were, where you don't want to be, is because you're living the life which is manifesting what you don't want.
Yes.
But if you want to manifest what you do want, you have to create a new reality, right?
Yeah, you have to see it, imagine it. Well, you know, whatever you speak, you become. Whatever you think, you live it. Totally. And I think a lot of people, if they just kept going that little bit further, then they would see that, oh my gosh, I'm seeing results, and then that would spur you on, and that was what was spurring me on. I was like, my God, if I just keep going, what would happen if I just took it a little bit further? And I just kept saying that, and you know what it's like. You just, once you get into it, there's no turning back. You just keep going. Just keep going.
Exactly what you just said, because once you are aware, it's very hard to become unaware about something, especially something that destroys your current paradigm and you can't see it in any other way anymore. And then you start to become awake about so many different facets of health and life, and how everything is intertwined, that, you know, there is no way of going back, because if you are going to do something that is maybe not in alignment with your values, it's almost like you know that you are doing harm to yourself, you know, because you are so aware
Yeah,
about it. So
100%.
you can't do it, you know.
I mean, I remember, like, I look back and I suddenly remember the other day, I used to fall asleep. I used to go to work, get up at silly o'clock in the morning, sometimes do kind of late night shifts. And I would come home and I would fall asleep with my laptop, watching a film, fall asleep in front of my computer. Absolutely no clue whatsoever. And now I changed my whole life. I thought I couldn't sleep, and I didn't know why. I couldn't sleep, and I blamed it on the fact that I was approaching, perimenopause, which apparently, it's not. I don't think it's not really a thing. Like, I think you can avoid certain hormone disruptions, obviously, if you.
Yeah.
I mean, it is possible, I think. But I didn't know why I couldn't fall asleep, and I would lay awake, and it was really stressing me out. And then I was, having heart palpitations and anxiety, and then I thought something needs to change. And so when I moved to the coast, changed my whole life, I used to have like 4 televisions in my old house, one in the loft, one in my bedroom. My God. And I just kind of didn't know how to set them up. When I got to my new house, I was like, I don't know how to set these up, so I'm just going to leave it. And then before you know it, the universe must have been looking after me. And I never set the TVs up, and I still don't have a TV. I mean, I can watch it on my laptop or my phone, but I just don't. After sunset, the thought of watching something on television or letting that blue light into my eye, if I go to the cinema, I go at 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, because if I go at night, I'm going to fall asleep. And I don't want to feel like that. I want to feel good when I wake up in the morning. And
of course. Yeah.
it's just you notice how far you've come.
Yes, exactly. So maybe you can tell us, what kind of sacrifices do you feel that you had to make in your life? Because a lot of people don't acknowledge that there has to be some sacrifice, and some short-term sacrifice for a long-term benefit, right? For whatever we are aiming for. If we are thinking about the short-term comfort, like eating something like right now because I feel like it, versus not eating that thing for the long-term benefit of not eating that thing, So if you could maybe go into some areas of your life where you feel like you had to sacrifice in order for but they're not really sacrifices anymore, right? Afterwards, because you don't even feel like doing those things anymore after a while, those habits and behaviors. But what are some things that you had to switch in your life that you feel like has massively improved your life?
It's funny because at this age, I'm 53, I'm 54 this year. I think I've done all my partying. I grew up in the 70s, partied in the 90s. I'm repairing my brain cells, right? So I don't feel like I've sacrificed anything because I feel like I've done it.
Right.
But when I gave up sugar, in all areas of my life, and changed my lifestyle, I think I turned that energy into excitement. I was feeling excited about all of these changes. So I never really felt like I suppose sugar's been the biggest sacrifice. I thought that I'd miss, I wouldn't be able to eat cakes or sweets or whatever, but at the weekend I eat what I like, because my metabolic flexibility is how it should be. It's like a normal, it is how it should be. Yeah. I think, and I'd never known that.
Yeah.
Not since I was a kid.
But I want you to maybe explain to people, if you can, because a lot of people, when they hear that, they think, oh, I can get away with that, but only if you are healthy, if you are metabolically healthy, because now you've built your body to the state where you're able to tolerate those things. And I feel like there is a lot of people in the health and fitness space, and also circadian space, they vilify carbohydrates a lot, when in reality, it's not about, there's no such thing as a good or a bad macronutrient. It's just, how is the body able to process and tolerate that nutrient, right? Why is it not able to utilize it or process it? That is the question we should be asking, not that the carbohydrate or the sugar is the problem. Why is the body not able to process that sugar or the carbohydrate in the first place,
Well,
right?
because they're not getting sunlight, and this is a thing. Like, people don't you know, a lot of people message me, how do you do it, you know, what are you doing? And you tell them, you're like, I've learned, this is what I've learned. You need to get up for sunrise, get that golden ratio in your eye, get that red light in your eye, and people don't want to do it. And you don't realize that getting that light in your eye regulates all your hormones. Especially, I'm in full menopause, and I cold plunge every day, and I know that it makes testosterone. What is it, Andreas? Testosterone. I always get that one wrong because of my hearing. And so I think people underestimate the power of being outside in natural light. They think they can get away with, you know, fitness, working your ass off in the gym. I see so many people working their ass off in the gym, but missing the most important thing. It's not about food, it's about getting the light in your eye.
100%. So, one thing that you mentioned previously in the beginning was about the burnout that you experienced. And I feel like a lot of people, they are doing all the things, meaning they are, you know, working out really hard. They are supposedly eating as they are supposed to be, but they are not taking care of their circadian habits or their sleep. And if you're not doing those fundamental parts, or you're not getting sunlight, you're not getting grounded, that means you're not taking care of the foundation. So eventually you're going to hit that burnout point, even if you're working out, because working out is a sympathetic activity, right? So everything that is hard for us to do, all the hard things, even cold exposure, is like puts us into a sympathetic state at first when we get in, but afterwards, you know, when we get out, our nervous system is better regulated, but our body cannot tolerate those hard things so easily if the nervous system is all the time fried. So I think that it's really, really good if you maybe talk about some ways that you actually regulate your nervous system. What kind of habits and things have you found very helpful for that?
I've been using red light therapy for many years now, but only since I started using EMR Tech red light therapy panels did I really start to notice the true benefits of red light therapy. From using EMR Tech's Fire Dragon Pro and the Inferno Pro, I noticed better recovery from workouts, improved skin health, better energy levels, improved eye health, improved sleep quality, and pain reduction. I can safely say, based on my experience, that EMR Tech has the highest quality panels on the market, from build quality, functionality, and the aesthetics. Don't take my word for it. Grab yourself a panel from emrtech.com and use the promo code MobilityFitness for a massive 30% discount.
So, you know, we have to remember that women who are in their 40s, I had a child in my 40s, and when you have a big family and you have children, it's hard. You know, life is all about timing. So you have to kind of imagine, visualize, work towards goals. Like, I always wanted to move to the coast, and I would visualize it, and it's happened. Everything I visualize has happened. And, you know, people message me and like, well, how do you do this when you've got kids? I'm like, well, visualize it, and then it would get to a point when your kids would be, you know, older, and you will be able to go and get up for sunrise, and you will be able to go, you know, sneak a little bit of a sneaky session at the gym. Having a home gym has really helped, because I can just fall out of bed and do my workout, and you know, I can still make my kid breakfast and see him off to school. Implementing things like, you know, when you're driving along on the school run, or you know, you walk to school, get the natural sunlight, or you roll down your window, letting the light. And then I suppose it's easier for me because I'm a little bit older, and it came to a stage in my life where I had time, and lockdown as well, I was able to pay more attention to my health. But I think, I mean, everybody's different. It is literally about life, that it's about timing. And I think it was my time. And so I think everybody has a time. So if you can focus towards something you want, I mean, as you know, you can manifest stuff. People think it's woo woo, but you know, you are what you imagine, and it sounds woo woo, but it works.
Yeah, I mean, it works also in the negative sense as well, right? So if say people think if you think negatively, yeah,
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 absolutely.
if you're negative, you attract the negative things into your life. So it's very, we believe that part, don't we, very easily, but we don't believe the good stuff. So I think we need to shift the mindset towards
And
positivity.
also, you know, eliminating stress. So I look back and I was working silly hours because, you know, I was earning good money, and people would ask me to work and I would always say yes. And it's learning to say no, and it's learning to slow down and just stop and think, do I really want to do that? And, you know, money doesn't motivate me anymore. Money just comes. It gives me what I need, and I can do what I want to do. And I don't mean that to sound pretentious in any way, but I think you know, I think it's just being just slowing down.
Fantastic tip.
Otherwise, you're going to
Absolutely.
burn out, aren't you? Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. If you're not like slowing down, if you're not doing all the things, you know, to calm your nervous system down, you're gonna hit a point where you're not able to work anymore. So you're not even able to earn money, right? So the thing is,
Yeah, like a vicious circle.
yeah,
It's like a vicious circle.
you have to really take care of your health. I think most people all underestimate the power of doing the slow things, for then being able to be more resilient and to do the hard things. Everyone thinks that
Yeah.
to get in shape and to change my health, I need to do hard things. You know, I need to do the ice bath. I need to climb the mountain. I need to do the hard workouts. I need to do this, get fit in 30 days, you know, kind of business, like super hardcore. But in reality, no, it's about taking your time, as you said,
Yes.
and like,
Consistent.
yeah, preserving your health.
It's for me, I think in my head, if I'm going to work out for longevity, you know, I don't want to become a bodybuilder. I don't want to exert myself into setting myself targets that are not achievable. So I'll push myself in the gym, but I won't push myself to the point where I think that's not maintainable. I'm going to get fed up with doing that in 6 weeks. I work out to a certain level, but experimenting with your own body. I think that's the biggest thing, is people want to know all the answers in 5 minutes, and then they hit the gym and go 5 days a week, and it's like, it's not about that. You really need to slow down, and you need to experiment on yourself, and you try out different things. I mean, I think I remember messaging you, asking you about creatine, and you were like, just try it. Because I don't take anything. I don't even take an aspirin. I've never taken aspirin, paracetamol. I do not take anything, because I think if shit hit the fan, you need to be able to survive on whatever you've got around you. So I just kind of like really simplify my life in every single way, in what I eat, in where, you know, every aspect of my life is simplified. I'll even walk instead of driving, or and then it's just about slowing down, really slowing down.
So I love it how you said about simplifying things, because a lot of people try to make it sound so complicated, like, you know, transforming your health and your body is literally about hammering the fundamentals over and over again, isn't it? It's just prioritizing your sleep, but not only your sleep. Everybody can sleep, right? But how is the quality of your sleep is dependent on what we just talked about, which is your light environment, your relationship with your environment. And you know, whether you're exposed to artificial lighting or natural lighting, whether you have been very stressed throughout the day or more relaxed, all of these things are going to influence how you sleep. So if we get the sleep right, and then, you know, we get outside as much as we can, we have that nature connection, we're then able to, you know, to thrive. And then it's so much easier to transform our body externally. Because I tell my clients all the time that in order to transform your body on the outside, you have to transform your body on the inside so it reflects on the outside.
You have to feel it, right? And the way you train yourself is, you know, a lot of people have lots of apps and gadgets and
yeah, I'm
think
against these Fitbits and watches. I don't like them.
No, I mean, I did have an Aura ring, but I started to feel it on my finger, but I'm quite sensitive to things. I've become more sensitive to things like that, I think, for obvious
Even
reasons.
with the flight mode option on.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Even with what? Sorry, with flight mode on.
Yeah. There was, I think now there was an option to put the ring on a flight mode, but I'm not sure if it's still emitting some kind of signals.
I haven't had it for a year. I mean, do you know what? It was absolutely brilliant. When I first started on this journey, I had an Aura ring. I used apps to track my macros and my fat, you know, to protein intake. But what I did is, you know, after doing it for about a year, I know it. I like to have a little bit of pressure, you know. But I can feel it. I can feel when I'm in ketosis. I can feel when I'm
you've learned your body.
Yeah, I'm so in touch with my body, and I think, yeah, just do it. Basically, just get on and do it rather than procrastinating. Yeah, experiment, and it's really fun actually when you work out something yourself. And you go, oh wow, well that worked. And I think recently somebody posted, quite a big influencer posted the golden sort of amount of time to fast, and I was like, wow, I've been fasting for that amount of time for the last 4.5 years, but I didn't realize it. Just I know that it feels good, and I know that it's
like on a daily basis. So they are talking about.
No. I fast once a week. And I see lots of people, you know, over fast, and they go for days and days and days, and you don't, unless you're trying to cure something, you know. Everybody's different, so I don't know if you want to fast for that many days, maybe that suits you, but I know that this amount of time is the right time, and I can feel that, you know, even now I have varicose veins, they're all gone. I don't need my glasses to drive anymore. I only wear them at night time. I've actually stopped wearing my hearing aids for about 6-7 months now, because I've learnt that we need to exercise our eyes. We need to exercise our ears. Well, you know, and I suppose I've been wearing glasses because what I notice is when I eat sugar, I need to wear my glasses the next day. So that is quite profound. You know, sugar equals information, as I have learned. And
it's interesting though, because you know the eyes they are mainly using more glucose compared to other cells. So it's really interesting how they get affected by you eating carbohydrates, when in reality maybe it's just too much sugar for the eyes.
Definitely. I know, you know, I love eating cake. When I lived in Thailand, the locals called me Kerry Cake. And, but I'm fortunate enough, I've got some amazing friends that own a bakery, where I live, and I know what goes in their cakes, and I know what flour they use. And I've even started milling my own flour and making my own cake. So I know that it doesn't have the heavy metals in. I've started growing my own food, and I've started making my own butter. I mean, I'm so
dependent, self-reliant.
I just wanna put goodness in my body, really. I'm not, you know, but I still when I have too many cakes, I can feel it the next day.
Of course.
But that's okay. You just get back on it and don't, you know, just keep going.
Exactly. This is what I love. This is what I love, that, you know, again, another thing which I do, and I teach my clients as well, is that if you make, let's say, a mistake, or you fall off track with your diet for one meal, just get back on from the next meal, you know, just eat like what was part of it. of the plan. Yeah, just get back on track, and it's all about consistency. What you do 90 to 95% of the time.
Yeah.
If you're good with your habits and it's taking you towards the right direction and the goals that you want, once every so often eating something that you can't, or being exposed to blue light once every so often, is not really going to kill you, right? It's more about the consistency. Like, for example, I train in the gym maybe 4 times per week, and that's obviously in a blue light gym, right? But I'm always wearing my blue light blockers when I go there. I'm always being outside the rest of the time. So 23 hours of the day, I'm living circadian alignment. So I'm not that bothered if I go for 1 hour to train in a blue light. But even, I mean, supermarkets, hospitals, airports, they're all blue lit, right? So we shouldn't be stressing so much about the gym specifically.
Yeah, exactly. You got to live your life, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what other like health practices / habits do you feel like have been a game changer for you beyond sunlight and cold exposure?
What are the game changers?
Like, what kind of things do you do on a daily basis or on a weekly basis? Like, do you do sauna at all? Do you do grounding? Do you do any breath work? Do you do any of these kind of things?
I ground every morning. I jump in my cold plunge at sunrise. I walk bare feet around my garden, and if I don't do that, I go sunrise on the beach, and sometimes I go in the sea. Like, I've literally gone for a walk at sunrise and just stripped off and run in the sea, because I think
that's the best.
You start craving it. You know, you want to get those electrons.
It calls you in.
It calls you in. And you know, if you said that to me when I lived in the city, I would have been like, no way. But when you move down to the coast, you know, your body starts being very in tune with your surroundings. So
yes.
I can't not run in the sea. What else do I do? I just I'm busy mum. I mean, I home ed my son, so I'm teaching him all the things.
Oh, amazing.
He's nearly 14. So the last year he has really got into his fitness. I think it's a natural process for a teenage boy. But also it's been lovely because my boyfriend, we've been together for 2 years. When I met him, you know, he was a bit like I was in 2020. And he's worked out all his life, and he was kind of all of a sudden started just doing the things I was doing. I didn't even, you know, go into detail about it, and I was like, wow, this is really quite infectious. You know, when you sort of like do all the things and people see that you're getting results, it has a real kind of knock-on effect to your family.
You lead by example.
Yeah, so it's just being able to help as many people around you and show them that. I was going to say, the one thing that blew me away was I came from this person that was so unwell. I was actually told that if I'd have carried on, I probably would have got, you know, could have got cancer. And I think the way your body has the ability to spring back is incredible. It's honestly, it is profound. You know, I was very overweight, and I get regular attacks of vertigo. I'd be in bed for about a week, and to think, you know, where I've come from there to now, my body has sprung back, and I'm past 50. It's amazing, because you don't think that it's possible, but it's so possible if you just implement all of the things. You'll notice a difference in 2 weeks. I did. I noticed a difference in 2 weeks, and I was like, wow, if this is how I feel in 2 weeks, imagine what I feel like in a month. Imagine what I feel like in 6 months. Imagine what it would be like in a year. And 4.5 years later, I'm stronger than I was in my, you know, I'm more kind of, I've got more energy than I had when I was in my 20s. And I think it's amazing. It really blows my mind.
Yeah, you know, like the body's always trying to heal us and to regenerate us and detoxify us. But if the level of toxicity and damage to the body is greater than the ability for the body to deal with that process, that's what we call aging, right? Is when we have constant stress on the system and the body cannot have the the energy or, the antioxidant capacity, by having the melatonin available to scavenge all of the oxidative stress from the free radical damage that we are creating. We are then causing, DNA damage, mitochondrial damage, and this is what leads to accelerated aging. Not a problem for one day, but it's very problematic if repeated every single day for multiple years. And this is what a lot of people are doing even when they are young, like in university or when they are studying, or even after studies, when they are drinking alcohol like almost every day, not sleeping, like, being exposed to the wrong type of light and eating the wrong types of foods. And you're doing this for years and years and years. And then afterwards you look in the mirror one day and you wonder, when did I age like this? When did I get these wrinkles? When did my hair start graying? But then, as you said, like, because the body it wants you to repair yourself so badly, even until the day that you are dead. It's all the time trying to repair you, literally. And the only reason why it can't keep on going anymore is because the mitochondrial capacity goes out, and then our energy levels go to zero, and that's when we can't carry on living in this physical body. So the mitochondria have like a certain potential, right? So every single decade of our life, we lose approximately 10% capacity of mitochondrial function. So the earlier, of course, you catch yourself in this cycle, the more of a greater chance you have to spring back towards something better. And you have really shown everybody that you can do this, even if you are in the halfway, or what we consider as halfway in your lifetime. We don't know if you're going to live to 150. Right.
I think it's amazing that you guys have found this lifestyle at your age, because, what are you going to be like when you're my age, kind of thing. But also for people not to give up hope if they are thinking, oh my God, I'd never be able to snap myself back into shape.
Everybody
can. You just need to get up.
Yeah.
Get out.
I love it how you're always so like, you're always so direct. You always tell people, like, just do it. Don't overthink it.
Just do it. And I'm trying hard not to swear. I've been doing quite well, actually, for this whole almost hour.
Oh yeah, you've been doing great.
People need a wake-up call. People do need that, that you do need to be quite direct, because there's been this very softly approach. And that's what made me wake up,
Yeah.
I listened to somebody telling me to get off my arse and get out there if you want to change your life, and that's what you have to do.
Yeah, well, there is like there are two types of pains in life, isn't there? Like, there's the pain of like temporary discomfort for long-term, success, or you have short-term comfort for long-term pain. So it's choose which pain you want, but like, I always choose short-term pain right now so I can reap the benefits in the future. And what I was going to say previously, based on what I just said about the ability for the body to heal itself, was that, once you get yourself out of the way and you remove all of the stressors and all of the things that were causing you the damage, this is what leads to your body to be able to spring back to your original self, which is your young self, right? Like, the cells are always wanting to be young, vibrant, and anti-aging, like what we call negentropy, which is like the reverse of aging, right? So it doesn't matter about your biological age. Your chronological age. It's about your biological age. So how old is like your cells?
You're old as your cells, right? And I think I remember from this journey right from the beginning, I visualized myself on my very best self. I had an image of myself for some reason standing on the end of the jetty in a long coat. It was a bit like this today, actually. It was cold, but it was sunny, but I had a coat on and my hair was kind of blowing in the wind. And I had a big smile and I was looking really healthy. And you know what, Andreas? I am that person today. So you keep visualizing and holding that vision, then you will get there. You will get there.
Wow.
You will.
I love it how you had it so descriptive in your mind, the vision.
Say that again.
I love it how you were so descriptive with your vision in your mind.
Yeah. I mean, I still hold that today. And I think I just suddenly realized one day, oh my gosh, I am actually that person. And it's hard work, but it's worth it. It's so worth it.
Why is it important for us to eat local and seasonal, do you think?
So that's the other thing, isn't it? Local to our latitude. So, you know, I won't, if I eat a banana, I'm going to feel like shit, basically. Unless I have the banana cake that my boyfriend's sister makes when she comes down and stays, I will have, you know, one slice. But eating locally is, why do we eat locally? Because it's to our latitude. It's what we would have grown up with. It's what we would have evolved with. It's what we would have eaten in the winter, you know, picking berries or growing our own vegetables locally or honey. We didn't have all the foods that were imported, and obviously now they're getting tampered with beyond belief. So yeah, the local honey is amazing. Yeah.
Why do you stop eating before sunset or just at sunset?
So that your body can repair itself when you're sleeping, because that's when all the work is done, isn't it? That's why sleep is so important. And you know, gone are the days when I used to go out for dinner and eat a big fat meal at 9 o'clock at night. I couldn't think of anything worse now. But like you said earlier, if you do that once in a while, it's not going to kill you. Just not all the time. I've just got a message that my raw milk is waiting for me.
Oh, are you in a hurry?
So that's another.
Are you in a hurry for it to go and grab it, or?
Not at all. But you know, talking about manifesting, I was thinking I need to find some raw milk, and I need to find some local eggs. And sure enough, you know, I was driving. I've just changed gyms, so my route to the gym is down some country lanes, and I just happened to drive past some an honesty box with some eggs. And then I happen to be part of a Facebook group since 2020, and they set up a raw milk delivery. So, you know, it's evidence that this stuff actually does happen. So yeah.
100%, and you attract like what you want, right? What you keep on thinking about.
What you think about
comes to you.
Yeah, it does. No, I mean, it's like you can't, you know, you talk about this stuff and people give you really funny looks, but you just hope that people kind of will. Yeah, I mean, you meet people on your frequency, don't you? You attract your own tribe. So
100%.
Yeah.
Has your health journey and your body transformation in general, how has that influenced like your relationships? Well, you kind of talked about already about your partner, but do you feel like you lost some people around you who thought that you went weird or crazy or something? Like what if you feel comfortable sharing about that, you know, what kind of happened?
I think when you change, it makes other people look at themselves, and because at the end of the day, nobody really gives, you know, they're more concerned about themselves than they are about you. Yeah. And that applies to when you go to the gym and you're worried about, you know, what you're going to look like. Nobody gives a shit. You go into the gym and everybody's worrying about themselves. So I think it's like holding up a mirror, isn't it? So you start getting fit and healthy, and some people don't really want to be around that because it reminds them that they're not maybe had the chance, or they've known you a certain way for years, and then you're like suddenly changing everything, and you're not going out for a drink, and you're not you know, staying out till 1-2 in the morning, even though I'm kind of way past that stage. But even you know, family and friends, it's awful, but some you'll find that your biggest haters are actually really quite close to you. But send them love and kindness because they need it, and hopefully they'll come round. And I feel like a lot more people are getting on this journey now. I think people are starting to wake up to the fact there's a lot of stuff out there now that is talking about the circadian rhythm lifestyle. I think a lot of people are getting in. More people are getting into the gym lifestyle. I think.
Definitely. Yeah.
But yeah. Did you find that, Andreas? Did you?
Yeah, definitely. I find that a lot of people, especially ladies now, you know, because in the past ladies were not so much into going like in the gym environment. They were more like into these like fitness classes and stuff. I feel like now the the gym culture is really like shifting so much. You see a lot of more people like Tina, for example, like in the gym, like in good shape. There's a lot more people like being proactive about their health. They're aware that they need to do something, so they start with the exercise. They're not aware about all the other, health things, but it's a good place, like no matter on which area, which pillar of health you choose, you find one and then eventually you start to become aware about the other ones, but you have to eventually implement the other ones as well if you want to see that all round long lasting, result and benefits that you actually want. Yeah.
You are the person that helped me do a pull-up.
Well, you did the work. You did the work. I just gave you a couple of
tips. Do you know what? You just said one thing to me. You went, I think I messaged you about it because I think I saw Tina do about 20,000 pull-ups. And you said to me, it's mind muscle connection. And then you explained it to me and I was like, wow, that's so interesting because my mind has been blocking me all of this time. Most people, they kind of aim to do a pull-up in the gym. It's what everyone works towards. And I remember once, and you just said also look up, just look up, because I was like concentrating so hard to try and pull myself up. And when I got the first pull up, it was just amazing. So thank you for that because it made such a bloody difference.
I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, and like what I was trying to get you to do by telling you to look up was to get out of that like sympathetically dominant state, right? Because when you're like, trying to pull yourself up with all your strength, you're using maybe not the most appropriate muscles for the actual movement, right? So you want the correct muscles to be engaged for the exercise to save your joints, number one, and secondly, to activate those muscles that you want for the actual pull-up, because once you start developing them, the pull-ups get easier and easier, and then you're able to do more and more. So then your lats are able to come online. You have better posture during the whole movement. And again, it's about that body awareness, right? And that's why I said to you, it's about mind-muscle connection, because a lot of times we think that we don't have the strength to do something, but actually it's just that the brain needs to gain that neurological safety by us showing to the body by us doing the thing over and over and over. And when there is an element of play involved, about this, about neuroplasticity. Like when there's an element of play, you learn things maybe like 100 times faster. So if you're not so serious about things and being more playful, you can like achieve incredible things with your body.
Well, for me, it was all about starting up something that I used to do as a kid, which was roller skating, because that is fun. And I think I hadn't put my roller skates on since I had a really bad fall as a kid, and I was like, right, I just don't want to get back on my skates. And then reliving, the music, the skates, what you wear, like very sort of 70s, 80s style, and bringing back the memory. And now my brain is clean, my nose works better, all my senses are heightened, so I can pull back those memories. And it gives me it gives me loads of pleasure and kind of excitement of when I used to roller skate as a kid. And like you said, it's like neurogenesis is a thing, and you become fitter from doing something that you love. So roller skating is my thing. Like I can't imagine, I wouldn't just go to the gym, because I think it's nice, it's good to kind of do lots of other things, but think about something you love doing as a kid, whether it's playing tennis or whether table tennis or rounders or whatever, or skipping. Skipping's a good way to start something that is going to lead, or even hula hooping. Just that's how I started doing hula hooping. But yeah, that do something that's fun, and then just build up and let it evolve into something a little bit more kind of, picking up some heavy weights when you get stronger, feel a bit more confident. I think confidence is a big part of it as well, because when we have, when you have your kids, like your body changes and you need to get back to, you try to get back to how you are, and you have a lot of pressure from, pressure to snap back, but it's about, taking your time.
Definitely. And what you said there about you being afraid when you were a child doing the, rollerblading, and then now all of a sudden you did it again with this new fresh mindset of trying to
Yeah,
reintroduce it into your life. I feel like you also released yourself from the trauma that you
yeah,
were that you
making
had in your head. Yeah,
yeah,
you've let
making
it go and
memories.
you reprogrammed. You reprogrammed your system
Yeah,
to feel like now this is a really positive thing and I love to do it. And
yeah,
the cool things about that type of sport is that there's so many variables involved. Like, you've got balance, strength, athleticism, flexibility, mobility, so many aspects in that skill that is
yeah,
not just bi-directional like in the gym, like you mentioned. That it's so important for people to incorporate multiple different fitness activities in their weekly routine. I feel like on top of your traditional strength training, because traditional strength training makes you strong in traditional movement, like just basic up and down, backwards and forwards, but it doesn't make you good at, rotational work, being, in unexpected situations like in that sport that you are doing.
well, I mean, for instance, I sort of evolved. So when I started skating, I was thinking, well, maybe I should get in the gym, but I didn't have the confidence. And then I posted something today about Muscle Mike, a fellow, we follow each other. And I watched him every day, every day. He would be in the gym and he'd be like, his little hashtag would be, just do it. You already know it, just get it in. And I
Yeah.
was like, do you know what? I need to go. So every time I went skating, I would go weight training because I'm thinking, well, I want to get stronger to skate. It wasn't about being in the gym. I just wanted to get stronger for skate.
Yeah.
And also, if I took a fall, I'm the only one that has got the full kind of pads on the elbows, the knees, the wrist guards. I really don't give a shit what I look like. I think if I'm going to fall over, I'm going to go down and I'm going to be comfortable.
Yeah.
But what I've realized is that, the stronger I got weight training, if I did fall over, I wouldn't even feel it. I just bounce off the floor and people were like,
Yeah.
oh my God, are you okay? And it's like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
fine. Whereas I do see people coming, they put a pair of roller skates on and they don't do any exercise and then they fall over, they break something and they wonder why. And you just think, my
Yes.
God, if you just pick up a weight or just kind of got a little bit of movement, then
Mm.
you would feel the benefits so much more. But
Mm.
I'm just kind of getting into this whole, it's not just about weight training, it's about mobility and your fascia and moving,
Yes.
it just makes you so balanced
Yeah,
naturally.
fluid. Yeah,
So,
yeah, exactly. I feel that, all of these quantum and circadian
yeah,
practices, they are very underestimated when it comes to fascial health and the
yeah,
connective tissue, because we know that the connective tissue, the elasticity of the connective tissue comes down to the overall health of your overall system and how hydrated your system is. And
yeah,
stress in general dehydrates your system. So it dehydrates your connective tissues. So if your connective tissues are less pliable, when you fall down or you hurt
well,
yourself by
everything's going
accident,
to be intense.
you're more prone to breaking something or
Yeah,
cutting something or causing more damage because it's more frail. It's not as juicy. It's not. It doesn't have the
yeah,
high hydration in there. To, as
there's
you
not as
say,
much
just bounce.
energy there.
Yeah,
It feels like, when you got energy, you got more kind of, I don't know, it's a feeling, isn't it? You
life
just kind of
force.
deal with
Yeah,
life better when you're full of energy.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
I think everything that I've learned in the last 4.5 years, life is hard enough as it is. So if you do have a bit of a cleaner brain, if you do feel a bit healthier, it makes it a little bit easier to deal with.
100%. So there goes again, like what you're saying is that all about laying that foundation before you start to do these other extreme things. It's always a great start for people to, I guess maybe we can finish off our conversation here by highlighting and summarizing everything that we just discussed in this awesome conversation. So we talked about the importance of light, what type of light you are exposed to really influences the trajectory of your health and your well-being on every level, right?
On it.
Your mindset as well. It
Yeah.
really shifts your mindset. It changes your perspective about life because when you start to align with taking care of yourself and your values are in alignment with that, every single aspect of your life is built based on those foundational principles. So as you mentioned, you're not going to go to the cinema at night. You're going to go in the middle of the day because that's more circadian appropriate. Yeah, in the morning it's more circadian appropriate to do that. And you're not going to damage your health by watching TV after sunset. And most people don't realize the exposure to artificial blue light and Wi-Fi, cell phones, microwaves, all these things, invisible electromagnetic signals are damaging our body, especially after sunset hours. So it's very important. Do you also like block the blue light after sunset? What kind of lighting do you have in your house?
I've got a pair of I bought blue blockers for myself and my son, and they religiously go on after the sun goes down. But yeah, I think it's when you can't see the damage straight away.
Yeah.
What people don't realize, it's like a little, you know, you're adding to your kind of. It's like, I can't explain it. It's
stress
like a
bucket.
jug of water.
I call it a stress bucket where you keep on filling.
Stress bucket, and you know, in 5-10 years time, it's going to be up here, and you can do something about it today.
Yeah.
You just have to be quite forward thinking. But I think sometimes when you have, or when you do get sick, is when you take action, and it's you know, it's that thing, you know, youth is wasted on the young. When somebody used to say that to me when I was younger, I used to go, what does that mean? And now I know exactly what it means. So you try and spread the message and try and inspire people to do something before it's too late. But that's just human nature, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about everything that we talked about today is literally about letting go of who we were to become something that we wish to be. And we need to embody that new self that we like what you just said about visualizing yourself and where you wish to be on, like, energetically, physically, spiritually, and letting go of what you are right now, even though that may sound extremely hard to do because you may not be able to see yourself well, you know, if you are unwell or you
visualize it.
So you have to just start with small action steps, like what can you control right now today that is going to influence tomorrow, and then therefore that's going to have like that knock-on effect where you're going to build that domino, you know, get that ball rolling, and then eventually you're finding yourself on a really good trajectory towards, you know, you're finding the energy to have the enthusiasm to look into other areas of life and health which are going to impact you on a big scale.
Well, it's like a snowball, isn't it? If you get started, suddenly you just find yourself, you can't get off this snowball, and it feels fantastic. So it's just about getting started. Yeah, it's awesome. I think some people have it and some people don't, and all you can do is encourage the ones that kind of want to come on that journey with you, you know. And when you do, like, the snowball gets bigger and bigger, and the energy gets bigger and bigger, and everybody bounces off each other, and you know, you inspire me. I get inspired by people all the time. I've always got inspired by people, and I always thank them for it as well, and remember, you know, who inspired me. Yeah,
I love how open-minded you are, though, because, you know, it does take quite a big level of open-mindedness to be able to embrace different things that you don't understand, and you don't necessarily judge them, but you just accept them for what they are. You don't criticize them, and you just try. And because you are a person who just tries and does, you get the value, right? You extract the value and you discard everything that is irrelevant to you. But a lot of people, they criticize things before they even try them, and then they wonder, like, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think you just have to what would I was going to say something and I got distracted. There were so many things I was going to say.
Oh, I know. So, well, let's close off like this. Is there any other final words of wisdom you would like to share with the audience before we sign off?
I think block out the noise. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, I love it.
Block out noise from everyone, you know, the voices. That's why I like to simplify everything, Andreas, because you know, you go back to 2020 and I really enjoyed the quietness, and that's when I actually could focus and go, right, let's do this. Let's just do this. This is your chance. So block out the noise and just concentrate, focus on what you're doing, and just don't worry about what other people are thinking.
Mm. So yeah, listen to your like inner promptings. Like, does it ring true to you?
100%. And I do it all again. Honestly, like I see people starting their journey now, and I enjoyed the journey. I loved every moment of it, and I still am. I'm still learning now, and I'm still even hungry for more information, and I just love this community.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, I feel like this circadian and quantum biology health space is really great, because I feel like we're so open-minded about so many different areas that we can share so many great tips with each other. And I feel like us sharing this message, you know, to other people, like your inspiring journey, I feel like you're going to inspire so many other people who are, you know, ladies out there who are busy, like working moms who, you know, or even dads out there. It doesn't matter, like, if you are a man or a woman, this knowledge and wisdom applies to everybody. Even if you are a child, it applies to any single age group. So it doesn't really matter. Well, thank you so much, Kerry. This has been a great conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for having me. So lovely to meet you, and I'll see you. Yeah,
well, if you ever come to Cyprus, let me know.
Yeah, I'm coming. I thought you were in Greece. I don't know why I thought you were in Greece, remember? But yeah, Cyprus, I've been. I love it.
Most people think that we are in Greece. Well, because Cyprus is quite close to Greece, right? But it's its own separate country. It's a separate island. It's close to Turkey and Egypt, so we're kind of like in the middle of those two countries.
I'll be in Turkey in May, so who knows? I might come across and see you.
Yeah, the flights are quite cheap if you are going from somewhere nearby. It's easy to hop from one place to another if it's like really close. Like from here to Egypt, for example, it's like super cheap, and it's only 1 hour flight from Cyprus. So,
I mean, it's amazing when I see all your pictures and videos on Instagram when you and Tina are walking in the sea and stuff. I get really jealous.
Oh, but you live on the coast, right? It's not. You live in the coast, but maybe it's not as like the water is different.
We have a little microclimate. It's better than London, but it is England. So, you know, I have to use the cold. If there's no sun, I use the cold.
Yeah.
But when it's good summer, like the skies here at the moment is just so blue. It's beautiful. But I do love the heat.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe you have uncoupled mitochondria, so maybe you're more designed to be, you know, exposed to the heat and the cold, because you get benefit from both if you are, you know.
From both. So I'm kind of lucky that I have, I'm a certain haplotype, so I'm quite lucky like that, yeah.
That's awesome. If you enjoy all these awesome conversations that I'm having with the guests, I would really appreciate if you left me a 5-star review on Spotify, and you also followed me also on YouTube as well, because that helps to get the message out there and spread this awesome knowledge and wisdom. I hope that you have an awesome morning/evening wherever you are in the world, and until next time. This is the Fitness Wisdom Podcast.